Hey, what's up? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Movie Dumpster. Today we're talking Dragonball Evolution from 2009, directed by James Wong. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor Ozuru McGraw.
Welcome to the dumpster.
7 Dragonballs must be found, for all man's fate will be bound to battle forces of death and fear, and compel Shenlong to appear.
You're already speaking my language, Connor.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Like, you guys are deep-rooted in Dragon Ball mythos, and you guys are very big fans of the anime, and I'm going to come right out and say it. Like, I've only seen Frieza Saga, I've only seen Majin Buu Saga, and Cell Saga. That's what I remember. So this movie has nothing to do with any of those things. There are characters that I know, and there's characters that I don't know. So as far as the lore of Dragon Ball goes, I don't know what the fuck is supposed to be happening exactly. So this is going to be interesting.
Doesn't matter.
This is going to be interesting.
They fuck it up in this movie big time.
They fuck it up in the first minute. Like, they fuck up fundamentals, like people's basic origin stories. Like, what, like the basic step one function of that character, like where they came from.
I am the odd man out on this episode, and I am reporting to you from the dumpsters specifically as a spectator to this film, and not, fanboy or a fan of, or it's completely neutral in terms of, like, this is a movie I'm watching, and am I having a good time?
Did you have a good time?
No, this movie fucking blows. Like, so all right, so let me run you down real quick. So I don't know, I know Goku, and I'll get into some more questions, but like, I know Goku, I know Bulma, I know Master Roshi, I know Piccolo, right? But the way this movie is just put together, just everything about it is shit. Like, from the humor that doesn't really land, that is obviously of Japanese influence. Like, there's a lot of like lost in translation shit that I see coming through in this, in terms of like humor and even like story and shit like that. But like, on the whole, it's just a bad movie. Like, it's a poorly put together movie, and it's clearly some kind of cash grab because what? It was big on Toonami?
Yeah, pretty much.
The funny thing about that is, like, this movie came a decade after Dragon Ball was at its peak in the country, and a lot of people were like, okay, Dragon Ball's done. Like, I don't really have a reason to go back and revisit it, so, like, that chapter of my life is kind of closed. And then this movie comes out, and everyone was like, oh god, including Akira Toriyama himself, who saw this movie and went, okay, apparently I'm not done with Dragon Ball, and I have to make something so that this isn't the last thing people remember of this story.
And he made a far, 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 far superior film in Battle of the Gods, which eventually spawned Dragon Ball Super. It was so successful.
And Dragon Ball now is probably as successful as it's ever been. The Broly movie's out, and the Broly movie has made over $100 million at the box office.
Whoa.
I can't believe that a Dragon Ball Z movie made that much money and that people still care that much.
Well, you have to keep in mind, Connor, that when Dragon Ball Super, which was basically a continuation of Dragon Ball Z, a quote-unquote canonical following, whereas Dragon Ball GT, that came out like in the late 90s after Z ended, was more of like a spin-off that, Akira Toriyama didn't have any input in really, other than maybe a couple character designs. Super, he created the main villain from the movie. Beerus, he's like this cat Egyptian dude. And then they did a second movie where Frieza comes back and he gets his golden form. And, a whole bunch of other shit happens in Dragon Ball Super that by the end of that series, it was just like at peak Dragon Ball Dragon Ballness, I guess I'll call it, to the point where, yeah, like Connor said, they made this new Broly movie. And for those that don't know, Broly was basically a super, or one of the more popular movie characters from the original run of movies that they did. And they basically put the Dragon Ball Super spin on it, which, includes way higher power levels, new versions of Super Saiyan. They got the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. They got Ultra Instinct. It just goes it goes places, man.
Yeah, it works as a nice retcon because Broly's original origin story was that he was mad that Goku cried next to him as a baby, and he's annoyed by his existence. That's it.
Yeah.
People have died for less, so, I don't know.
Now, Connor, I don't know your level of attachment to this series, but I can speak for myself. I am Dragon Ball as a whole is probably my number 2 anime/manga series of all time, only behind One Piece.
And that's saying a lot, dude.
It's I've read it all. I fucking watched it all. GTZ, the original. Super. I've seen most of the movies, and unfortunately, I add this one to the fucking list.
I have spent money on lots of shovelware Dragon Ball games because I just like Dragon Ball and I like throwing money at that property because a lot of those video games are terrible. I love this series to death. Dragon Ball, the original run, I'm less familiar with. Z, GT, and Super I'm very familiar with.
The funny thing about that, Connor, is this movie actually predominantly pulls from the original Dragon Ball, which, for the manga fans out there, all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was one series just called Dragon Ball in Japan, and then when America got the rights to it, Viz broke it out into 2 things, kind of to pair with the anime series. Kind of like, for anyone that knows of Naruto, eventually they did Naruto, and then when he has a time skip, it's Naruto Shippuden, but it's all the same fucking series at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
This movie thinks it's pulling from Dragon Ball, and then, during the process is like, and then stuck a finger up its nose.
Yeah. Or up its ass, let's be real.
Yeah.
So the plot of this film is there's an old alien, a Namek named Piccolo.
I have to stop you right there. Namek.
Let me get this out, and then we can go into it.
They fucking call them Namekians for. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking nerd during this episode, and I apologize ahead of time. This is like giving me flashbacks to Death Note.
Oh no, I am too. And I don't care, because this movie deserves a thrashing. It deserves to be thrashing with information.
Don't you dare apologize. This is going to be fucking great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
This is fun. I need popcorn, because not only people are listening to this right now, but I'm listening to you guys go on, and I'm like, this is going to be fucking funny. So, all right. So the plot of this film, again, outside spectator view here. And I'm not really super familiar with Dragon Balls. I don't know what the fuck is supposed to happen. But anyway, so Piccolo is a Namek, an alien, and his people tried to destroy the Earth however many thousands of years ago. And he was put away by some kind of enchantment. We never really know what the fuck the enchantment is or how he gets out again, but he escapes again. And him and his cohort, Asaru, which is like this fucking man monkey thing, which I do know, and we'll get to that, he's going to resurrect him on the blood moon eclipse, and destroy the world. But he needs 7 Dragon Balls for some odd reason.
The actual purpose of the Dragon Balls changed 3 times in this movie.
Yeah. So he needs the Dragon Balls. He needs to release Osaru. He's going to destroy the world. And wouldn't you know it, there's one kid who can stop him. Goku. A white motherfucking kid named Goku. And yeah, that's the basic plot of the film.
So, would you like to know how many things about this just torch the source material?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Let's start from the top here.
All right. First of all, Piccolo comes to Earth, and now, Sean, you might have to fill in the blanks here. He comes to Earth and attempt to become the guardian of that planet?
No.
Okay, I did skip something then, because you're probably more familiar with Dragon Ball than I am.
So, some of this stuff I don't want to go into till it's more film relevant, so I'm kind of going to just talk around certain things just to keep the suspense going, I guess I'll say.
Sure.
But essentially, Piccolo, in the original story, was what they thought was a demon, and you find out much later that he is actually an alien. But he comes to Earth, he crash lands on Earth to escape his planet of some kind of doom, and he's this real evil motherfucker, but he's super powerful. And at some point, this great martial arts master sealed him in this, in the fucking original, it was inside a rice cooker.
It was a rice cooker.
And I mean, I get why they didn't do that in this movie. There's too much to explain to go into that. But long story short, he was this bad fucking dude that no one could beat. So they entrap him. And much like this movie, he does escape. It's never fully explained in the original show either, although there is a secondary antagonist named Pilaf, who is like a running gag kind of villain in the original Dragon Ball, who was always trying to get the Dragon Balls. And he resurrects Piccolo and kind of wants to use Piccolo to advance his agenda. And Piccolo is just as like, okay, yeah, I'm super powerful. You're this peon weakling. I'm just going to have you help me find the Dragon Balls. And in the original, he's looking for the Dragon Balls because he's really old and he's trying to restore his youth to regain his power.
Ah, yes.
At some point, he does, this is not relevant to this movie, but I guess it should be mentioned. At some point, he does kind of split himself in two, forming a good part of himself that becomes Kami.
Right, which basically means God.
Yeah, the evil half stays as King Piccolo, who then later on would birth actual mainline Dragon Ball Z Piccolo that everyone's more familiar with, but that comes after him and Goku fight.
That's my Piccolo, Dragon Ball Z Piccolo.
Yeah, my Piccolo.
Yeah, so we open up the film, and there is a voiceover by Randall Duke Kim. Am I saying that correctly? Duck Kim or Duke Kim? I'm not sure. Anyway, he's the voice of Master Oogway from the Kung Fu Panda series, and I love those movies.
Shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And I'm like, this sounds fucking familiar. So I look it up, and there he is, Master Oogway. Let me tell you how much I'd rather be watching fucking Kung Fu Panda than this fucking movie.
Movie's entertaining.
It's awesome. It's really good.
I love Kung Fu Panda.
So he's just giving us the rundown of the film in the beginning about like what's about to happen, and it's like, and then there was Goku, and here's this story. Here you go. So we're introduced to Goku.
Sure.
Played by Justin Chatwin from Shameless, because I'm sure that was the first person you'd think of when casting an Asian superhero.
This is one of those things where it's like, why, you have a white dude named Goku.
Yeah, makes no sense.
And it's like, I don't know. It's so hard to get on board with it. Like, it's just so silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not to mention the movie when the first shot you see of this fucking guy is a close-up on his eyes of him crying and sweat dripping down his nose.
So he's practicing with his grandpa on like this wire thing. Okay, so this whole sequence is kind of funny because it reminded me a lot of like the comedy and the way that like the old Japanese martial arts films were done, especially the fantasy ones like Drunken Wu-Tang and Crippled Masters and things like that. So it's weird because there are inklings of that Japanese humor in there, and I just feel like to an American audience that this is trying to, I don't even know who the fuck this movie's for exactly, and it's just like, why is that here? Like, why are we trying to do that or trying to capture that? You know what I mean? Especially with Chow Yun-Fat later. Like, he's having a ball.
Yeah, oh my god. He's so bad in this fucking movie. I couldn't believe how bad he was.
He was my favorite part.
He was mine too, but it's not saying a whole lot because at the same time I'm like, this isn't really Master Roshi, but okay.
No, not at all. But he was the best part of this film, I thought. So question number 1 for you guys. Was Goku's grandfather named Gohan?
Yes, he names his son after Grandpa Gohan.
I did not know that. So it's Goku. Goku's been training with his grandfather, and he really doesn't know why he's been doing it. He's been teaching him airbending and chi. Is it called airbending in the fucking anime?
That was so weird.
It is not fucking called airbending. It's never really given a former name. People need to just shoot fucking beams out of their hands, and we've come to accept it. That's really all it is.
I'm like, somebody's getting copyright infringement papers served them, because like, what the fuck, like, that's specifically from another property. Like, why are we talking about that?
They go on to even then say like, oh, the firebending fundamentals are air, fire, water. I'm like, this is an Avatar, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that was unnecessary. I mean, honestly, the whole thing with the ki blasts and all that shit is essentially explained as you basically channeling your energy or your chi or your ki and, forcing that energy in your body into a physical form.
And it looks like shit.
Yeah, it looks like mist or something.
I described it as Gohan fires a blast of refreshing, tasty vanilla air at Goku's face.
Well, he calls it the Shadow Crane Strike.
Sure.
Okay, I guess. So yeah, it's Goku's 18th birthday, and, his grandfather's been training him. He doesn't really know why. The audience doesn't know why, or could give a fucking shit, because it's just kind of like fed to you, and Goku doesn't know why, and it's just kind of plot specific, like for the film, like later, like, oh yeah, well that's why Grandpa's been training me. I never questioned it, whatever. But Grandpa doesn't want Goku to beat people up, so he gets bullied a lot at school, especially when this fucking guy runs over his bike while he's still on it, practically.
Yeah.
What's this guy's name? Russell?
I think it's Fuller.
Flanders. It doesn't matter.
Flash Thompson?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. And it's just, and then it's just like this cliche shit where it's like, oh, would you say go dork, go geek?
They're calling him Geeko, and it's this
Geeko
group of, like, they were like bullies that were plucked from other movies that had bullies who just hung in the background and just kind of assembled in this little spot, and they're just complete pieces of shit. But again, it's cliche after cliche after cliche, and they're calling him the dumbest, most pedestrian names I've ever heard.
Yeah, Biff and fucking Billy Zane are there.
Yeah, and then, like, I don't know, this fucking high school setting's bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, it's like future school.
Oh my god, what fucking year is it?
What is this world? Because it doesn't make any sense. None of it's consistent.
That's the thing in Dragon Ball. It's one of actually the few things I feel like they don't nail, but they kind of get close to it, because in the original Dragon Ball, it everything is like future city. There's still like farm towns and shit like that.
Yeah. But
technology is way more advanced than ours, and I kind of bought that.
The world of Dragon Ball is weird. Like, at some point, the president's a dog. He's just a blue dog who speaks, and he's the president of the world, I assume. And if you look at the map, it doesn't resemble anything from our reality. There's massive plains of just nothing, and then cities sprinkled out, and they all have dumb names like North, South, East, West City.
If you don't know that, this is extremely confusing.
Because you just go from location to location, you're like, nothing's syncing up, nothing looks visually consistent or tonally consistent, like, because in a few minutes, we're gonna go from his fucking high school to, like, what I assume is a third world country, and I don't know where it is. They don't tell you what it's in relation to or where in the planet it's supposed to be.
And then right after that, we go to fucking Mega City 1. I'm like, what's going on here? And then the fucking house from Up is in the middle of nothing, and I'm like, what is...
I had problems with that, too, because it's supposed to be something else.
Before Goku goes to school, there's this quick scene where after he's done, training with the grandpa, bouncing around these fucking flubber strings, he basically talks to his grandpa, like Joe was saying, it's his 18th birthday, and his grandpa gives him his gift.
Oh, yes.
It's the 4-star Dragon Ball, which is important for later in the film, but it is also the same 4-star Dragon Ball that from the original series Goku's grandpa had, and Goku's always, on the lookout for.
You mean his Promethean orb?
Sure.
Isn't that the one that goes on Gohan's hat when he's a kid? Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more or less always in his family in the show.
Oh, yeah. It's like on a little tassel. Okay.
Right. It's like the way he remembers his grandpa is this Dragon Ball, this 4-star ball. But yeah, he like you guys were talking about, he's at the school and he's in class, and his teacher's talking about this fucking solar eclipse. And this is the point in the movie, if it didn't already happen, where I just was like, did they ever pick up a copy of Dragon Ball and read what the fuck Goku is all about?
Oh, fuck no.
He's sitting there staring at this girl who I just immediately am assuming is Chi-Chi. And at some point, he's daydreaming about her eating a fucking strawberry, and I'm looking for Job.
Cybo Man was in the back, dude.
I fucking wish Cybo Man was there. He could have saved me from this nightmare.
He gets machine gun and just falls into a desk.
He tried to stop the Namex the first time, failed.
He was the original protector. He did the original Mafuba. Goku in the original, like, he's just this fucking, like, half-wit type character. Like, I was talking to Connor before we started recording, and the closest, like, American stereotype that we could think of is, like, Homer Simpson-esque.
Yes.
He's a well-meaning idiot who is really good at fighting and bad at everything else.
And he loves to eat, right?
He loves to eat and fight, and that is it. He doesn't know about women. He doesn't understand them. In fact, there's a part in the original Dragon Ball where he pulls off Bulma's panties because he wants to rest his head on it like he used to do with his grandfather's balls because it was a nice pillow, and he's confused as to why she doesn't have any. This is how stupid he is.
Holy shit, I need to watch this shit.
And at some point in the original series, he's like walking up just patting people in the crotch. He's like, you're not like me.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that in this movie, it just starts with one Goku being bullied, which is just mind-boggling to me, because he just, the actual character would not put up with this shit. Secondly, that he is just, like, infatuated with this woman. Whereas in the original, he just has no fucking clue that this woman's infatuated with him. He's just kind of rolling with it.
Chi-Chi essentially snares him and never lets him go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and to give you a little bit more context to Joe and people that don't know this material as well, Chi-Chi essentially in the source material eventually becomes Goku's wife.
And she's like the strongest woman on Earth too.
Right. And then we go to feudal Japan?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck this was supposed to be.
See, that's that again. This is that time thing because I'm like, what fucking year is it? Because this is like Edo era fucking Japan, and then Ada Wong shows up looking for a fucking Dragon Ball.
Oh my god, the first of many people with a boob window.
Oh yeah,
they show fucking Piccolo in this really badly fucking rendered airship.
He's flying Slave One.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
They don't even say how he escaped from this fucking concealment or imprisonment. He just appears and has a ship. I'm like, where did you come from and how did you get that? Like, they don't say anything or show you anything. He's just there.
And he's got 4 of the 7 Dragon Balls pretty much already.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to concern you with the semantics of this journey. It's already done with. Who cares?
He's got this, like, energy blast in his hand, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, wow, he's got a Dragon Ball in his hand, and he just, like, points at the ground and just is like, oh, wait, no, that's a ki blast. And it's just like this really bad, like, After Effects 101 kind of effect. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?
Ugh, it looks like shit. And I love how everybody's got, like, special color ki. Like, of course, he's got, like, dark red because he's, like, a fucking dark elf or whatever. He's not a Namek.
What is this, fucking Star Wars?
Well, I mean, it's fine on paper, but then, I don't know, the color choice is weird because it's also adding to my extreme dislike for how everyone's powers are displayed in this movie.
Oh, his is blue. It's a good guy.
I'm a dumb baby, and I'm supposed to sit here and clap at this movie. Ha 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 ha. No, sir, I got the impression from this movie that this basically was like, here's a thing you recognize. Don't you like it? You read that stupid book? Now clap your hands like a dumb baby until the movie's over.
Well, I did read before this movie was made, the writer of the film actually just did this fucking straight up for a paycheck. And years later, he had to come out and apologize for it because he got so many death threats.
Here's the thing. You shouldn't try to kill someone over Dragon Ball. It's really not worth it. That being said, his apology is really backhanded, and it makes him seem very insincere and kind of more of a douchebag.
When you come out and you like apologize for something and say, oh yeah, well I was just doing it for a paycheck. Like, dude, there's something called like pride, and you know, you must not have any of it because you didn't even fucking try. You know, fine, write a draft of this film, but like, did you have to make it fucking garbage? Like, I don't get it.
It's one of the worst apologies. Like, Joel Schumacher's apology is more sincere than this dude's.
I didn't know Joel Schumacher gave one.
Oh, the Batman and Robin commentary track is just 90 minutes of him going, I am so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know how this all came to be. I made a bad movie.
Yeah, because he was on fucking coke or some shit. Like, don't give me that shit. That's not, I guess, what I'm saying. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing when they're doing it.
And then I guess we'll just gloss over this now, too. When this was in production, Akira Toriyama himself tried offering input, and according to him, he was rejected and ignored at every turn and essentially had nothing to do with the final product.
The kicker here is it's not easy to make a movie, so you're just wasting everybody's time.
Yep, and one of the things he says is interesting. He says, every time I spoke to them, they kept telling me they didn't need me, and they had a strange confidence about how this would turn out. I'm like, that's a really polite way of saying they were arrogant dicks.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, Piccolo, he fires this fucking beam into the earth, and then cut, and this village is just totally destroyed, and people are running for their lives. And yeah, that assassin woman shows up you guys were talking about.
Ada Wong.
Her name is Mai, and I believe, isn't she Pilaf's henchwoman in Dragon Ball?
Yeah, one of his goons, yeah.
Yeah, and none of that is even reference here. No one names her explicitly in this movie. No. She just appears. No one ever says why she's there, how she gets there, and then later on she just kind of leaves the movie, and you never find out who she actually is.
If they throw it, I sure as shit didn't catch it because I was looking for it.
Well, Piccolo has about 4 lines in the entire movie, and not one of them is her name, so I don't think it's said.
James Marsters, by the way, fucking Spike himself from fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And let me tell you something. This guy's not a bad actor. He just drew the fucking short straw in this role. I gotta tell you something.
Yeah, and conceptually and visually, Piccolo looks like shit. He's got this weird fucking, like, action figure armor on.
He wears a fucking hood for most of the movie.
Yeah, he doesn't have his tentacles up. They're embedded into his forehead, and his color is not green.
Again, he looks like a fucking dark elf. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, and not a very good one either.
No, like the reject, the background one that, like, you know, that they don't do a real good job on, just to, like, fill out the scene.
Right.
So, yeah, my takes is she just shoots some villager and takes a Dragon Ball. That's just right there. She finds it effortlessly.
Yeah, again, though, like, Dragon Balls are in, like... As powerful as they are, they seem to be in, like, fucking 10 miles of each other.
Every single Dragon Ball in this movie is found without as much as, like... No one works for anything. They're like, we have to go here. I found a Dragon Ball. And they go somewhere else and they go, I found a Dragon Ball. I'm like, these things are just lying around. You don't have to look anywhere. They're all in the same, like, 10-block radius.
As luck would have it, there's a Dragon Ball nearby. Let's go get it.
Here's a question I have for both of you guys. Do you know how they found these Dragon Balls? Does anybody understand how? Does Piccolo just able to sense some fucking dormant energy in these? Because he's sure as hell is just fucking stumbling into them.
They leave all of Piccolo's, like, motivations, ambitions, and methods completely in the dark.
His thing is summed up as his race of people came to destroy the Earth, and for whatever reason, he was like the only one left, and they locked him away, and then he's coming back to rule the Earth. That's it.
It's just weird. Eventually, some reason is given to how they're able to track these, specifically Goku's group. But like Piccolo, I don't buy that at all. Even for the stupidity this movie's trying to shovel down my throat.
Maybe fucking Boba Fett had a tracker. I mean, he is one of the best bounty hunters.
Is he just off screen feeding him lines?
Maybe he's got a fucking DBE meter on the fucking Slave One.
Oh, God, fuck me.
Right in the back of his jetpack.
He's no good to me, Dad.
We go back to the high school. Chi-Chi's trying to open this, like, high-tech locker that everyone has. And for some reason, she can't open it. And then everyone just leaves her in the hallway for some reason to try to open this locker. And then Goku, being creepy, hangs out from, like, another side of a hallway and just, like, blasts a Kai blast down the hallway, opening every single locker. And then he awkwardly runs away.
And then she chases him down the hallway and says, "Hey, you're Goku, right?" "Yup, that's me." "Hey, that was Chi, right?" "Yup, sure was." "Oh, that's cool. I like Chi too." "Oh, really? You're a Chi fighter? Well, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Want to come to my party?" "Sure." Cut. That's the fucking scene.
Chi-Chi's characterization is really bizarre. It kind of reminded me of Jessica Alba from Idle Hands.
Yes.
She apparently has a boyfriend. She's dating one of these boys, but then sees Goku, she's like, hi.
I got a big problem with Chi-Chi, okay? So remember that guy that we were just talking about that drove over his fucking Goku's bike? Yeah, she's dating that guy. And then, like, later she's like, nobody understands me, and I like different people. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're like the most basic fucking bitch in the world because you're just like, I like the hot jock guy with the nice car.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, then you cut to Goku's house, and his fucking grandpa's making this disgusting fucking fried chicken feet.
Oh, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I want some of it. It looks so good.
Goku's fixing his hair. He puts gel in it, and then the joke is, it springs right back up, and it cuts back to Grandpa Gohan literally sucking on these chicken toes. Like he's fucking getting turned on by it.
He's so excited, and there's no chicken, so he had to kill a bunch of squab and barbecue them, and they look fucking delicious. My mouth was watering. I don't know about you.
I will say, Randall Duck Kim is probably the only actor in this movie who looks like he's having a blast every time he's on screen.
I wish I could hang out with him, or like have like a Japanese grandpa that made me all that food.
I wish I could go hang out with him and share this birthday cake for his fucking ungrateful shithead of a grandson who just leaves and doesn't tell him for some reason. I don't know why he wouldn't tell him.
Yeah, so okay, so Goku gets invited to Chi-Chi's house, like we just said, for her party.
Her house in Malibu, like
We'll get to that fucking shit. Yeah, so Grandpa Gohan's making his favorite food and a cake and shit, and Goku like gets ready, and like right before he leaves, he grabs the Dragon Ball and just fucking bounces. And then poor fucking Grandpa Gohan is standing at the bottom of the stairs like, "Oh, Goku, happy birthday, buddy. Here's a cake I made." And then he's like, "Goku? Oh." He just fucking leaves without, like, telling him where he's going. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Here's my thing, though. Can't Grandpa Gohan sense his fucking key? Doesn't he know he left?
Yeah, and it's also that thing where it's like, you know, you spent 18 years of your life with your grandfather specifically for your birthday at, like, this particular time. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's pretty close to him. Why would he just, like, fuck him over like that?
Well, because this is movie Goku, and he doesn't follow any logic or anything compared to the original character. He just makes it up as he fucking goes along.
It's fucking stupid.
and he's also inconsistently both dumb and resourceful.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, again, I couldn't get a read on him either because I'm like, he's just very poorly written. Let's put it that way.
He is a stone block with a face, and that's essentially his role in this movie. He's like a piece of wood that's just drifting down the river, like boom, boom.
So he gets to fucking Chi-Chi's house, and my goodness, like, you know the mansion that fucking Ace Ventura goes to in the first movie?
Yeah.
It's like that, kinda. It's like, it's this giant fucking estate. And I'm like, where does this woman live? And it's not in the futuristic city either. It's in, like, some kind of fucking castle.
Let me give you another lore dump.
Okay, here we go.
It doesn't matter because it's never, they never go down this fucking road in this movie, but in the original, her father is this guy called the Ox King. And he was trained by Master Roshi, or Muten Roshi.
Oh.
And he actually lived in a fucking castle that had flames surrounding it, and they could not get into the castle. And long story short, Master Roshi comes in, and he gets super buff, and he Kamehameha the fucking fire away and blows their house up in the process.
I wish that happened in the movie.
And honestly, I'm probably, I have a habit of doing this on the show, but I'm probably giving them too much credit. But that's the only way I could fucking make it through this movie, is trying to connect the dots.
No, I like that. I like that you brought that up because it's enlightening.
Just scraping for answers.
Yeah.
But the point of the scene isn't to do any particular storytelling. It's just Goku showing up to this fucking house, and band o' douchebags are outside, of course, and they're like,
Or just outside as if they were waiting for him. Like, they're all gathered
Yeah.
at the end of this fucking driveway. Like, what do you want? They're smoking pot or something? It doesn't look like it.
let's be real, these guys are doing like ecstasy or like snorting coke or something.
Oh, it's definitely doing cocaine.
Doing roids or some kind of something fucked up. Crushing up fucking Valiums or something, snorting it.
Talking about their dads who own car dealerships.
So Goku rolls up and he's like, hey guys, I'm just here for the party. Don't want no trouble. And he's like, guess what, brother? Fucking trouble found you. Now get the fuck out of here. And he's like, I promised Grandpa I wouldn't fight anybody. And he's like, well, you ain't gonna be a fight. Gonna be a massacre. And then this scene's kind of cool in a vacuum where, like, Goku is so well trained that these guys end up beating the shit out of themselves because, like, Goku dodges all their hits and shit.
It is well choreographed.
Yeah, I kind of think that, again, like, in a vacuum, this scene's kind of fun to see the bullies beat the shit out of themselves.
Oh yeah, apparently these bullies are also like amateur kung fu fighters too. At some point, one of them just throws a full fucking jump kick at Goku.
Yeah, and then kicks the other guy in the fucking face.
Hey guys, remember Devon's ghost?
Where people just knew karate.
You don't know karate? Weird.
Oh, cool, man. Good thing, because we're about to fight.
Yeah, and there's lots of weird slow-mo shots.
Oh, slow-mo out the ass.
At some point, Carrie Fuller steps outside and picks up, like, I don't know, a fucking fire poker or some shit.
Yeah, like a fucking cast iron rod or some shit, and he's about to fucking beat this dude's face in with it. Anyway, Goku fucking is like, hey, what are you gonna do with that? And then, dodges his hits, and he ends up, like, beating the shit out of his, like, car, his nice car, and, like, smashing the windshield and, like, hitting the mirror off. Then there's one part where, like, Goku, like, slides across the top of the car on his head.
On his head? What the fuck?
And there's, like, a squeaky sound, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? What happened?
He's just cartwheeling over this guy on this car, and this guy is just senselessly beating up his own vehicle after, like, 3 or 4 unintended shots. I'm like, turn around!
Yeah.
Take the fight somewhere else.
So then some other dude grabs like a piece of rebarb, and then like they both go to hit Goku, and they fucking end up smacking each other in the face and like the leg, and they're all beat to shit.
Presumably killing or crippling each other.
And then fucking Goku rolls up to Chi-Chi's like, hey, what's up, babe? And she's like, oh, you turned me on because you know how to fight, and so do I. Come on in, I want to talk to you about something. So they go in the fucking mansion.
The fucking party just continues on as if nothing happened.
Yeah, like, oh, that was cool. Good job.
It just cuts to them like sequestered away from all the activity in some like random part of the house.
Yeah, and they're just, but like, again, this is, I have a problem with this because, you know, it's just nothing. Like, this is all happening for like the next 20 minutes and just it's not perpetuating the story. He goes inside and he talks to Chi-Chi, and she says something like, oh, I know you can fight, and I know you're Chi, and like, I got a secret, but I'm not ready to tell you about it yet. And I like weird guys like you, but I date the assholes for whatever reason, question mark. But, and then like, he's like, oh, yeah, you know, it's so great to come to your party tonight, especially on my birthday. She's like, it's your birthday? He's like, yeah, I'm 18, and, you know, I train with my grandpa, and grandpa said something special is going to happen when I turn 18.
Which is today. Did I mention that?
And Chi-Chi goes, your balls are going to drop?
You going to make love to a woman? No, I'm going to turn into a fucking monkey beast.
Yeah, okay. So, Joe, how much did you know about that going into this?
Me?
Yeah.
I was familiar with the fact that Saiyans have tails and do transform under certain circumstances.
So did you know about the full moon factoring into that?
Yes.
So can you imagine my annoyance as every time they show the full moon, I'm sitting there saying, oh shit, are they really doing this right now? And then they don't.
I didn't even put that together.
They fucking tease this shit out all the way up until the last fucking 10 minutes of the movie.
And it's awful.
It's terrible. It's not a monkey, I can tell you that much. So Goku's having this really forced, awkward conversation with Chi-Chi, and suddenly he's like, Grandpa, and just leaves.
Yeah. Something's wrong with Grandpa. My Dragon Ball's glowing. Bye. And then he just leaves.
What the fuck was that about?
I don't know. He fucks right off home. So Piccolo and fucking Ada Wong kick down fucking Grandpa Gohan's door while he's chewing on some fucking chicken feet. And he's like, I knew you'd come. And, you know, Ada Wong throws some fucking throwing stars at him, and he, like, dodges them. And then Piccolo comes in and, like, is this a power Piccolo has in the fucking anime or the manga? Because, like, he does this thing with his hand where he, like, crushes something, and I guess he's crushing the house. Because the house, like, breaks and collapses, and he, like, leaves.
Yeah, it's some weird psychic power, but the people spontaneously grow new abilities in Dragon Ball Z seemingly overnight. Like, Goku goes there and playing, he's like, by the way, I can teleport now, and I can read your mind, and you're never shown him learning these abilities.
I don't remember any instance of him ever doing anything like this in the show. At the most, he might have used telekinesis to blow someone's fucking head up, but never just randomly used the fucking force to destroy a house.
Yeah, he never Kylo Ren'd someone's house.
He fucking force chokes the house and fucking brings it down on old man Gohan. But anyway, the fucking ball's not there, and they leave, and Gohan is in a pile of rubble. Goku's got a bad feeling about Gramps. He goes home, pulls his grandfather out of the wreckage, and he's like, what's going on, Gramps? What happened? He's like, Piccolo's back. Good night. And he dies. And he's like, he's like, fine, Chow Yun Fat, and he's gonna tell you some shit or something. And then he's like, it's like cut to morning, and he's like walking through the house that's like half collapsed. And there's like a gag here for no reason where like he goes up into his room and like his room is gone, and he like throws his jacket down to like the second floor, and then he sees somebody like run into the house. So Goku goes downstairs like in fight mode in like one of the dumbest like fighting poses ever. This chick fucking pulls a gun on him, and wouldn't you know it, it's Bulma.
It's not Bulma. Fuck this movie. Also, she doesn't have her blue hair, and I read the reason why. They said, having all blue hair is unrealistic. Just put a streak in there.
In about 5 minutes, We're going to be fucking doing all kinds of wacky shit, and that's not realistic.
Yeah.
This blows my fucking mind with this shit. Again, like we were talking before with the Raimi thing and fucking Green Goblin not being able to wear prosthetics because he's supposed to be wearing a mask, and that's not realistic, even though we have a fucking spider guy that shoots fucking webs out of his wrists, asshole. I don't understand the logic here.
So Bulma walks in, draws a gun on Goku, and says, "Where's my Prothean orb?" At which point I threw my notebook across the fucking room, because at this point I don't know what anyone's doing. I don't know what the purpose of having someone rename the Dragon Balls are. In this universe, everyone should know what the fucking Dragon Balls are.
Well, to be fair, no one really knows what the fuck the Dragon Balls are, except for a very select group of people that are related to Goku.
Yeah, there are interested parties who are pretty knowledgeable of what they are and what they do. Not the whole, I wouldn't say the whole world knows what they are, but the people who are aware of them know what they are, and they know exactly what they're capable of.
We're talking about somebody who was previously in possession of one, and I feel like if you own one, you know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, basically this is just James Wan's fucking spin on the first chapter of Dragon Ball where Goku and Bulma meet, and it's just very poorly done. Shocker.
Anyway, she like works. Her dad owns the biggest crazy like he basically runs fucking Umbrella Lab, and
in the movie it reminded me so much of the fucking because the laser scene in the first Resident Evil movie,
yes,
this fucking chamber that the Dragon Ball is supposedly stored in.
We're only a couple years off of that, man.
Basically, her father owns this corporation called Capsule Corporation, and they never really go into it in the movie. But in the original series, it's basically, you know, the lead fucking technology company in the world.
Capsule Corp is Acme, okay? They make everything. Their fingerprints are all over the show in one way or the other. Everything comes in these little capsules, Capsule Corp, and they store basically anything.
Oh.
Vehicles, clothes, food, whatever. Like entire like houses can be stored into a capsule.
So this explains that stupid fucking ATV she has.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and like in the show, Bulma and her whole family are fucking rich as shit, and her dad just makes spaceships like because he's bored.
Okay, so Bulma's like, yeah, the fucking Ada Wong broke in and stole my Dragon Ball, and I'm here to find it, and you have it. And I'm like, what? How did that happen? How does?
And in the flashback, it shows Bulma looking directly at Mai and knowing she's the one who took it.
Yeah. And then she gets there, and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I have a Dragon Ball, not a Prophium Orb, or whatever the fuck it is. There's like a back and forth between Goku and Bulma about the Dragon Balls, and she's like, no, it's a fucking Prophium Orb, and there's 5 fucking stars in it. He's like, yeah, well, hey, stupid, this one's got 4 in it. And she's like, really? And he's like, yep, look at it. And she's like, oh, I almost killed you, sorry. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who wrote this shit?
And then she's like, by the way, I have this thing. It finds Dragon Balls. Let's go find them. Bye.
My DBE meter, my Dragon Ball energy meter.
Harold Ramis wants his money.
Oh my god, yes. He sure does.
This is the substitute for the Dragon Ball radar in the show, which it's just there. There's no real higher purpose for it.
And for some reason, they had to make it look like a fucking Power Rangers device, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to change the name, of course. You couldn't just call it the Dragon Ball radar because that's far too simplistic, I suppose.
Well, to be fair, Connor, she didn't know they were called Dragon Balls, although the second he explains to Bulma that they're called Dragon Balls, she's suddenly just allowing that word to roll off her lips with no version.
She just keeps calling it Dragon Balls from that point out. Like, okay, well, it's a Dragon Ball? Okay. Like, you just met this fucking whoever guy who has one. Like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and apparently she, like, invented this device. She has a PhD in applied dynamics and a minor in hand-to-hand combat or some shit?
Yeah, military technology or some shit.
Some horse shit. So she invented the fucking Dragon Ball finder, whatever, for whatever reason. Like, she lost it or some shit.
Yeah, because her whole thing is, like, in the movie, she's saying, I'm going to get rich off this. I'm going to find the rest of these things and create an unlimited energy source and get famous and rich off it. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're already fucking rich, lady. Like, what are you talking about?
You don't need more money.
No, and she specifically wants to use the Dragon Balls not to make a wish, but to use them as an unlimited energy source.
Right.
Yeah, because first it's, we need the Dragon Balls to stop Piccolo. Okay, why? What are you gonna do? You wish him into non-existence? And then Piccolo needs the Dragon Balls to wish back Urzaru. Okay, he really doesn't when you finally come to that point, but we'll get to that later. And then this one wants to use them for endless amounts of energy, and they can also grant wishes, and at some points, people just forget the one thing they've already mentioned and then apply a different meaning to them.
So Bulma, somehow through this conversation, Goku convinces her that they need to work together to find the rest of the Dragon Balls, and he's got to go meet this guy, Master Roshi. So they go to leave, and as we were kind of referencing earlier, Bulma pulls out her fucking hoi poi capsule, if you even want to call it that, and instead of like clicking this button on this little capsule and throwing it, she just places this little transformer on the ground, and it transforms into this really poorly CG'd bike, I guess.
Looks like a fucking Power Wheels, man. It's like a trike or some shit.
Listen, I don't expect them to, obviously, this movie sucks no matter way you look at it, and I don't expect them to nail the fucking art style that Toriyama did.
No.
But could you come a little close at least?
I don't know.
Oh, there's no effort in this movie unless, like, there's one thing, and you can tell how stupidly proud they were of this, and that's his fucking gi towards the end.
Look at that. Nice. Remember the show? Okay. Also, like, all of these shots of them driving are fucking atrocious. Like, you want to talk about bad green screen and bad, like, digital effects? Holy shit.
And you better get used to seeing it, because this is the transition for the next 40 minutes of this movie.
Most of the rest of this movie is them driving through a fucking desert.
Seemingly in the same direction every single time.
Yep.
Is that another homage to the original? Because they don't really do it justice. Again, shocking, I know.
They have to go find Roshi, and they go to, as Joe said, they go to Mega City 1, or this, like, actually, it looks like fucking, it looks like something out of Halo, like the ODST opening levels. It's this
kinda
weird, sleek, Blade Runner-looking city, and they have, I can't remember the exchange they have here, but it's went in my head and out the other side.
I'll tell you what it was. It was, there's a Dragon Ball close by. Let's go get it. That's how they get to this house. Like, yeah, Goku needs to find Master...
Oh, my...
Like, Goku needs to find Master Roshi, but the reason that they end up at this fucking house is because Bulma's like, my fucking DBE mate is going crazy. Let's go to this fucking house. And he's like, you can't just break into there. And then they fucking break into Sirius Black's fucking hidden abode.
Okay, this is supposed to be something, believe it or not.
All right, hit me with it.
The basics of it is pretty simple. That's supposed to be Kame House, where Master Roshi lives, which in the show is this tiny fucking island that houses a tiny fucking house in the middle of the ocean. And that's pretty much, that's like a primary meeting point where for characters in the show. They all kind of convene there for various reasons.
Yeah, so I guess their compromise was, hey, it's a big tech city. Let's just have this one that's kind of like separated on an alcove in this old building.
Let's have the house from Full House sitting on the middle of this landmass in the middle of this fucking reservoir.
The entirety around it is just like it was blown out. Like everything exploded around the house and just left a crater except for the house.
Yeah, it looks like it's being demolished and everyone just kind of went off for lunch.
Yeah.
So they go into his fucking house, they start looking around for stuff, and then we cut to doesn't there some stupid scene where Goku is causing too much noise and then does this weird fucking tippy-toe balancing move to catch, like, a bean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then Roshi hears it anyway and jumps out of his hammock and then just starts going crazy old man on these people.
I'm with it. Okay, so this is Chow Yun-Fat's whole thing, and he plays Master Roshi, and, like, I don't know, like, I'm with it. He does, like, little things. I know it's not your guy's Master Roshi, but, like, he does little things that are, like, kind of akin to what he does. And I don't know, he's playing, like, kind of like funny old Japanese guy. I don't know. I was okay with it.
Yeah, I like Chow Yun-Fat, so he's fine here, I suppose. He's just kind of being himself. He's not really being Master Roshi unless someone's kind of waving a naughty mag at his face, and he's like,
So Roshi fights Goku?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do like the fast fist thing from the anime, and it looks like fucking shit garbage. Oh my goodness. No wonder why they never did it again throughout the rest of the film, because it's fucking bad.
And then Goku goes to do Shadow Crane?
Yeah, the Shadow Crane strike.
He jumps in the air and goes to fire a vanilla-flavored Kai Blast at Master Roshi. And then he just kind of sidesteps it, and it just blasts Bulma in the chest and setting her through a fucking table. And she's fine.
That's not like a playful hit, right? That's like something to like bust somebody's ass pretty good.
It knocked her through one room into the next one and through a piece of wood.
I forget like what exactly breaks up the fight. I think Bulma breaks up the fight or whatever. And then he's like, oh, you're Goku. Oh, no, that's what it was. He's like, there's only one person on Earth that can do the fucking squatting crane thing, and that's Gohan, so you must be trained. And he's like, you know Gohan? He's like, I trained him. And I'm like, he's older than you are. What are you talking about?
Which doesn't really work, so well in the movie, but the joke in the original series was that Master Roshi, I forget the context of it, but he's a fucking immortal.
Yeah.
And he's just this really old dude who just trains people, and he's been doing it for hundreds of years.
Gotcha.
And one of the commandments of Dragon Ball is thou shalt not fuck with Master Roshi, because when people make him fight, he is godly. He's actually ripped under that stupid Hawaiian shirt he wears. It's fucking amazing, and he's the master of the Kamehameha, and every time they've made him, show his hand, he destroys somebody.
So then he's like, oh, you're Goku, and he's like, yup, and he's like, oh, all right, what are you doing? He's like, well, we're collecting all the Dragon Balls for reasons. We want to know if you had one, and he's like, well, I sure do, here you go, and he fucking rummages through his fucking chest full of nudie mags and garbage, and it's at the bottom of it. And also a weird thing is whenever Goku lays his hand on a Dragon Ball besides the 4-star one, he gets a little piece of a flashback or a future flash.
Oh, these are so bizarre.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is happening? Is he? And I'm thinking to myself oh shit, he's gonna go crazy Saiyan fucking monkey thing and rip somebody apart? Or is Piccolo a fucking Saiyan in this fucking stupid movie? Or what are we trying to say here?
They're trying to say that Judgment Day is going to happen and that the Ozaru is going to kill Linda Hamilton when she grabs the fence. I don't fucking know. I don't know what they're doing with this.
There's also a quick scene where they talk about how Gohan's dead, and there used to be this fucking poem that he was taught on about Shenlong, and Master Roshi basically reiterates it.
Is this from the source material? This little chant? Okay.
In the original, there is a phrase you need to use, and it's don't quote me on it, but it's something as simple as Shenlong, I call upon you, or something real basic, but you have to use it. They call it a password, I want to say, but it's not this super involved poem with all this fucking martial art poses you got to do to make it happen.
Why wouldn't they just do that? That's so much cooler than 7 Dragon Balls must be found for all men's fate will be bound.
I don't know.
And then there's fucking 3 other lines that I didn't bother to write down.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, show me the location of a Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and then fucking Pina Colada starts playing.
So Roshi goes into the same fucking story that we heard at the beginning of the movie about the fucking eclipse and all this shit. And then the plan from there is to collect the rest of the Dragon Balls, because Roshi's yeah, if we get the rest of the Dragon Balls, we can stop Piccolo. And it's okay, but Piccolo has 4 of the 7 fucking Dragon Balls already.
The most you can do is act as a preventative action, that's it.
Right, and I'm thinking okay, just keep him away from Piccolo, wait till the fucking eclipse passes, and you're good, right?
And here's my thought, why doesn't somebody try to destroy at least one of these things just to see what's going to happen?
Well, that too, and it's again, either hide it or try to destroy it, but they go right to him with it. You know what I mean? What?
I mean, you get this quick scene too, as they're making their plans. It goes back, remember Piccolo? They show him momentarily
and he just finds a Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he goes all fucking Rain from Mortal Kombat, and he pulls all the water out of an ocean or some shit.
He drains a fucking lake with the Slave One.
He fucking floats down, and he's just going to his fucking cohort. He's like, yeah, it's easier to find without all this water. And he just reaches into a hole and pulls it out. It's okay.
And then cut. That's the scene.
You have them basically, they leave this fucking, for lack of a better term, poor man's commie house, or I'll even call it Sirius Black's fucking house, but that's even a goddamn crime to call it that.
Yeah, well, fucking Creature was holding on to the Dragon Ball.
Oh, God. I'd watch that movie in a heartbeat.
Stab somebody with a fork.
Holy shit.
So Master Roshi comes out, and he's got all his fucking luggage, all 3,000 pounds of it, and he throws it in the back of the fucking Jeep, or the motorcycle, and, he's like, actually, Goku, you need to just carry that, because remember in the original source material where I had you wear this heavy turtle on your back, this turtle shell, and you ran around and did chores? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but not really.
Yeah, with none of the context.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I was like, okay, So what? Like Goku's supposed to be like super strong fighter guy and like obviously superhuman, and like that's why he's carrying all the shit and running alongside the fucking quad? Is that what we're doing?
Because in the original Dragon Ball, they at least the original run, pretty much all the way up until Z starts, they have this whole thing about how, you know, if you're wearing weighted clothing or you wear this heavy turtle shell, when you take it off, you'll not only feel lighter, but you'll be lighter. You know, there's some of it in Dragon Ball Z, but it's predominantly a Dragon Ball vanilla, I guess I'll call it, thing.
Yeah, weighted clothing loses its meaning in the first, like, third of the Frieza saga, and then everyone just forgets about it.
I did.
So is this where they find the super secret isolated place that Roshi goes to train by himself that's suddenly full of people?
Explain this to me.
This scene is so fucking bizarre because it feels like they showed up and then said, oh yeah, Chi-Chi's in this movie. We'll just put her here for no fucking reason.
As a fucking viewer, I'm like, okay, like Master Roshi had this fucking happening spot, or like had the secret spot where he would train people for all these years, and he comes back and it's just like full of people training for some tournament.
It's full of the cast of WMAC Masters have just moved in. Like, that's just there to show Chi-Chi getting sucker punched in the face and have her jump kick somebody off of a boulder.
Just so you can say that she's a fighter. And then Goku rolls up to her and he's like, hey, Chi-Chi, what's up? And she's like, hey, what's up? You know, I didn't want to tell you I fought. And he's like, oh, well, why not? That's really cool because I fight too. And she's like, yeah, well, you know, people don't understand.
And that's it.
And I'm like, what are you fucking Batman or some shit? Like, you rich ass motherfucker and you like do like karate on the side? Like, what is happening here?
It's also implied that like fighting is kind of a common thing in this world. Even in this tepid adaptation, like it's loosely implied that everyone is kind of aware or knows how to fight in some way. Because first of all, this location's full of fucking people.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, nobody understands. By the way, tournament.
Yeah, what the Yaosin? What the fuck is this? Yosin? I don't know.
It's likely referencing the world tournament that gets held in Dragon Ball, and that's where lots of people have come across. That's where Tien and Goku have a big confrontation. Goku and Piccolo have fought in the world tournament. Krillin has. Everyone pretty much has. It's kind of it's a weird little exhibitionary thing that the show will do sometimes, just to kind of pair up people.
Gotcha. The Toyson tournament is what it is.
Yeah, in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called, I think it's, what the fuck is it called in the show?
It's just the World Martial Arts Tournament, the Tenkaichi Budokai.
There we go. Yeah, so the games are named after it.
But yeah, they meet Chi-Chi, and then Bulma gets a reading on her fucking PKE meter, and they fucking leave, and Master Roshi's down in a beer that God knows where he got it from, and this is where you get Goku basically upside down, head first, handstanding in the back of the car, and Roshi's like, I have an orange, move it. And then he just fucking blows it up in Roshi's face by accident.
It's funny.
You have to do something where like to master the last part of your chi is to do two things at the same time. So that means stand, do a one-hand handstand and then use your chi to blow up a fucking orange.
It honestly sounds like Roshi's full of shit. It's like, to master your Kai, you need to do two things at once. Blow up this orange.
What is this, fucking Naruto and he's learning the Rasengan? Like, what are we doing here?
You gotta lift the droid and the pile of rocks.
Yeah, and isn't this also where Roshi's like, oh yeah, it's airbending and the fundamentals of airbending are blah 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 blah. Air, wind, fire, earth, water. Go Captain Planet.
Yeah. Go. You forgot heart, dude.
Goku's got heart, man.
He sure does. When your powers combined, I'm Master Roshi.
Oh. That hurt me. So he blows up this orange in Roshi's face, and then momentarily afterwards, they fall in a fucking hole.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it's dug by this dude Yamcha. Who is this guy?
Yamcha, the worst character in Dragon Ball and in this movie.
Yes, Yamcha is somehow more useless in this film than he is in Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball has made it a point to make Yamcha a running fucking joke. Yamcha is the first one killed in the Saiyan Saga. He is routinely beaten and bamboozled by everybody. He runs away from fights. I think in the Android Saga, he's the first one to be mortally wounded.
Yeah, he gets a fist through the fucking stomach.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, in the original, series, not to keep going back to that, but, he was a little bit more prominent of a character. He was kind of the role he plays in this movie, while not indicative of the source material, is similar to the role he played. He had like a sidekick, this floating cat character named Poir that could fucking transform into different things. Totally absent from this film. he had a crush on Bulma, and they had like a love-hate relationship for years until, eventually, towards the middle part of Dragon Ball Z, she just ends up having a kid with Vegeta, and that, kind of puts the fizzle on that. But yeah, he is, like Connor said, he's kind of like this running joke of a character where he just, originally when he's kind of a joke, it's more so just by circumstance of everyone being way stronger, and by the end of Dragon Ball Z, it's just because he just plain sucks.
Gotcha. So they're down in this fucking hole, and Yamcha's like, hey, you want to get out? I got a ladder, but you got to give me your bike or whatever. And Bulma's like, fuck no. And he's like, okay, see ya. And then all of a sudden, Chi-Chi's like, there's a fucking Dragon Ball close. And I'm like, again? How is it just right there? Apparently it's in the fucking cave. It's in the fucking cave that they fell into.
It's the laziest shit ever. Like, the writer put these people at different locations that are all nameless and have no reference to each other. There's no context surrounding them, and he just puts a Dragon Ball at every single one of these fucking places.
That's the most convenient fucking garbage writing I've ever seen. So then Roshi jumps out of this hole because they can't get out, right? They can't climb out or anything. It's like a deep-ass hole. Roshi jumps out of it. And he's like, hey, Yamcha, what you need to do is throw that fucking ladder down there right now. And also, do you have any excavating equipment? And then next thing you know, they're all down in the hole. Yamcha's got like a fucking drill a gun or some shit, and he's fucking going through the wall to find this Dragon Ball.
Yamcha has no reason to help these people, too.
Well, no, they promise him like a...
Oh, they promise him like some percentage or some shit like that?
A percentage of Bulma's patent or some shit on the Dragon Balls.
And they find a Dragon Ball, and then they leave.
Well, I'm sorry, like, there's a lot of things in this movie we can gloss over, but we cannot gloss over this fucking scene. Because, I shit you not, they pound through the fucking earth, and they end up in Mordor.
Wait a second, this is the volcano?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they found... I would, if you asked me this, I would tell you that, yeah, they dug that hole, they found a Dragon Ball, got out of the hole, and then went to a volcano.
Oh, no.
I thought I just looked down for a second, and they found that ball, and then they just, happenstance script right to the fucking other spot where there was another one.
Yeah, and then right above them, Heihachi's throwing Kazuya into the fire because he thinks he's the demon child.
Except this time, it's fucking Piccolo getting his blood fucking pulling out of him.
I had to go ask someone if this was what I think it was, and now that they've confirmed it, you might, I don't know if you feel the same way, but if these are supposed to be Cybermen, I'm furious.
I actually did not have that thought, and now that you say it, I am more annoyed than I was before. I was just under the assumption that these are supposed to be his fucking offspring in this, like, pseudo-science-ass way instead of the way they did it in the comic, because they probably thought it was too fucking corny or too time-consuming.
Why? Like, how does this happen in the fucking book? Because I gotta tell you something, this shit is fucking stupid.
We were actually talking about two separate concepts. The way Piccolo reproduces is he literally vomits up a big, giant, gross egg.
What? That sounds so much more, exciting.
And he puts, like, a portion of his energy into it, so depending on how much energy he puts into it, the more powerful the minion is.
Gotcha.
And the Cybermen were what Vegeta and Nappa brought with them to Earth to basically act like grunts. They're basically, go take care of the weaklings and we'll take care of the strong ones. And they basically say, like, we grow these things. They're completely disposable. And they're these, like, kind of like, they look like the mutants from This Island Earth.
Okay. The Metanula mutants?
Yeah, that thing. They're incredibly weak, and it's notable because they are incredibly weak, and the first one to die from these things is Yamcha.
Of course it is.
Yeah, they just blow him up. In this, Piccolo takes his blood, puts it into some fucking chambers, and grows Cybermen, I suppose. I don't know what the fuck he's doing here. And then these Cybermen just teleport to the fucking volcano, and they act like putties.
Yeah, they're going...
I thought it was drum and cymbal, and I was like, hell yeah, baby. And it was just these fucking Cyberman putty motherfuckers, and I was like, oh.
That are lit so poorly, you can't ever see one of them in the frame. They're constantly being kicked away or knocked down, and they're never lit.
Yeah, no, because they look like shit, and they know it.
Yeah.
It's also one of those things where I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I thought this was going to be like some badass, like, other character that they were just going to throw in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a one-off minion.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like these, like, cavalcade of, like, shitty bad guys that don't serve any purpose. Well, they serve a purpose, but...
Yeah, oh, God. And it seems like this scene only exists because someone was like, hey, it's been, like, I don't know, 30 minutes since there's been an action sequence, so we might as well just add one.
Yeah. I thought there was only one, and there's, like, a fucking barrage of these things, and, like, if you kill one of these things or like cut an appendage off or like cut them in half, the pieces grow full creatures. So for every one you kill, 2 come back. You know what I mean? So then, like, the Dragon Ball is like across this pit of lava, and these things show up. They're fighting these things, and then Goku's like, hold on, I got an idea. And he starts cutting one into like 10 pieces and then throws them in the lava?
Have you ever played Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, but like, I'm building a bridge? How does that even work?
I don't know.
How does he keep throwing them at precise distances so they'll land, within close enough proximity to not get burned by the lava?
He can feel it with his ki, man.
Why are they on top of the lava and staying there is my question. Why aren't they sinking into the magma?
Why didn't Goku fly?
That's a good question, too. What the fuck? Why didn't Master Roshi fucking throw him across the fucking pool?
Listen, if we start going down that rabbit hole, we're never gonna, get through the rest of this fucking movie.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, Goku, he throws these bodies in after he, makeshifts a fucking sword out of one of their limbs, which, I'm not even gonna go into how maddening that made me. He runs across these bodies, he steps on Kazuya's face, and he gets across, and he grabs the fucking, he grabs the Dragon Ball out of this perfectly placed little pedestal in the volcano, and then surprise, fucking Ada Wong's there.
Yep. She's like, give me the G virus, and she's getting about to shoot him.
And he just karate chops her in the fucking face, and she falls in a ditch.
It's so weird, though, because he smacks her down, takes the ball, and then immediately cuts back to the other side of the lake, and he's on the other side of the volcano, the lava lake.
I guess the implication is he just ran across the bodies again before they fucking went into the lava, but honestly, like, not that I need something to make this movie better, but it could have been somewhat of an interesting scene if he had to figure out how to get back, but yeah, no, we don't even get that.
So then Chow Yun Fat's like, oh, all right, well, we got this Dragon Ball, but we need it, Goku's like, oh, I saw you die, and I saw everybody die, and this, Osara's gonna kill you, and, like, I have to defeat Osara, and he's like, okay. Chow Yun Fat's like, okay. Well, we need a backup plan. Not only do we need the Dragon Balls, right, because they can't get all the Dragon Balls, and they finally realize the fact that, like, Piccolo has the other fucking Dragon Balls, like, duh.
Again, you're right next to a volcano. Throw them in the fucking volcano. Then Piccolo can't get them.
Because it's the selfishness of man, dude,
Yeah.
That's why the One Ring wasn't thrown in. Isildur fucking, he's like, I'm gonna take this for safekeeping.
I'm just imagining this volcano is like where several different fictional characters meet up. Like, Isildur is over on the other side just being screamed at by fucking Hugo Weaving.
Throw it in!
What are you doing here? We have Dragon Balls. We have a ring!
Gollum's biting off Yamcha's hand.
Oh my god. Yamcha doesn't even have anything. Gollum's just, like, eating.
So Roshi says we got to go to Tyson.
Yeah.
Where that tournament's taking place.
Yeah.
And smash cut to Roshi ending up in this fucking Chinese temple or what have you.
And fucking, I love this town himself, Ernie Hudson.
This was as bizarre a reveal as the second G.I. Joe movie where it's suddenly like, we need to go talk to the Hard Master, and it's the RZA? From the fucking Wu-Tang Clan who trained Storm Shadow? I was like, this is so bizarre. And then here's Ernie fucking Hudson with, in full Japanese robes as this teacher named Sifu Norris.
Yeah. What a name.
Sifu just means master, so he's Master Norris.
What, it was Chuck fucking busy?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Look, Ernie Hudson is actually great in this film. He's just a good actor, but, like, god damn, what a fucking stupid character.
It's also the weirdest place for him to show up. If I told someone who just had no idea, it's like, hey, Ernie Hudson is in Dragon Ball? I feel like their head would spin.
You know what they could have done? But I guess the studio just thought this would be too weird. Or maybe James Wan did. What if you had Korin, the little cat guy with the fucking cane? He's like this mystical type character. Even have Ernie Hudson voice it. Fuck it.
That would have been awesome.
I feel like this movie and the people behind it were really freaked out by any of the kind of lovably wacky things about the source material and stay so far away from it. And honestly, a little bit of that probably would have improved the experience for me, because if Yamcha did have a fucking floating cat, I'd be like, at least that's there, cool.
You could have had some fucking comedy relief that didn't feel forced.
But that's what makes it work, man. Like, even in the old Japanese one from the 80s, that has all kinds of off-the-wall wacky shit, and it's basically like the fucking... apparently, it's like the fucking, like, the manga, like, verbatim, nearly.
Yeah, and that one's called Journey to the West, I believe, because that's what Dragon Ball is based on. It's based on Journey to the West. But yeah, none of it's present here, and all the fun stuff that you would associate with this brand that kind of is the more cheeky, silly things that you'd associate with it are just gone. They just don't exist in this universe, and it's so boring.
That's the best way to describe this movie. Fucking boring.
And when it's not being boring, it's being egregiously stupid.
Yeah, so you have Ernie Hudson, and Roshi basically comes in and says, I was a non-believer for years, but now I believe that this blood eclipse is going to create the end of the world. And basically Ernie Hudson is like, okay, well, I've been telling you this for years. What do you want me to do about it? And he's like, I'm going to do the Mafuba.
It sounds like a Kama Sutra thing.
Oh, I never did a fucking Mafuba before.
You find out in the scene, though, that the Mafuba is a deadly technique. You cut to this fucking martial arts tournament, and fucking Mai's fighting Chi-Chi, and, she gets the old cut across the fucking wrist, and then immediately forfeits. And I'm just sitting there saying, oh, she stole her blood, right? She's gonna, transform into her or some shit.
Yep. That's what I thought, too.
That's not what I thought, because I wrote down, it says, what the fuck does she need her blood for?
I was just like, what? But it's just so, throwaway. What are you going through all this trouble for? Why don't you just kill these motherfuckers?
And here's the other thing I don't get. Is, if you're gonna be, a Shang Tsung type character, why do you only use this ability literally once in the film?
I don't know. And she has her own agenda of her own to get the fucking Dragon Balls for Piccolo, but again, what is this elaborate spy bullshit? And she's also equally the weakest and the strongest character at any given time in the film.
It's not to call this movie inconsistent.
How dare you?
But yeah, she might be the most inconsistent of the whole fucking movie.
So Goku shows up, and then Chi-Chi runs off, and we have more awkward dialogue. Yamcha and Bulma are talking in some weird marketplace, and then
this is so fucking forced.
With no build-up whatsoever, they tease a kiss, and then they get interrupted. I'm like, you two don't know each other.
No. This looks like a scene from fucking Double Dragon.
Joe, I've already gone through enough torture today. Don't make me have nightmares.
I've never seen Double Dragon.
Oh, we're doing that one. You gear up.
Oh, I fucking seen it. And that's why I'm already having PTSD thinking about it.
I own it.
I'm not surprised. And I think this is where we go outside with Roshi and Goku, and Roshi's like, yeah, watch me harness fire and throw it into this lantern, which is not something anyone ever does in Dragon Ball, not once, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Roshi's like, I'm gonna teach you first of all, they say it funny. They're like, I'm gonna teach you the Kamehameha. And I'm like, you're saying it goofy. But then they completely change what the Kamehameha wave's supposed to do in this movie. It's only ever been used as an offensive thing, and Roshi basically implies I can do anything. It's just your inner spirit thingamajig, man.
And then he just pieces. He's like, well, see ya, figure it out.
There you go, I've told you nothing, go ahead and do it.
I have to go practice this life-ending technique now.
Yeah, I have to go practice dying. So then Chi-Chi shows up, and we have this stupid, forced, romantic thing.
Okay, so is that Chi-Chi, or is that not Chi-Chi?
I don't know, because they do such a piss-poor job of transitioning from this to the next sequence.
Well, you're not supposed to know, I guess, but, so much so that it's that was stupid. And did Mei just, fuck Goku or whatever? What's going on here?
Did Mai just stupidly help the hero of the movie, a.k.a. the one person she's fighting against, become somewhat stronger by teaching him how to use this ability?
And that's the only reason why I think it is supposed to be legit Chi-Chi. But, that whole blood thing just threw me for a loop.
Yeah, and Chi-Chi's like, tell you what, I'll stand 5 paces from you, and if you can light the 5 lanterns, you can stand by me and sniff me or something. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Do you get it? You can put your lips on me somewhere.
Also, not to beat a dead horse, but, Goku at some point just tries cheating on this test, which, to me, just, made me have to stand up and go in a different room for 5 minutes to process what I was watching.
Yeah, but, also, how does that benefit anyone?
Exactly.
By lighting this thing with a candle, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a larger, problem with this film. But I'm specifically talking from the standpoint that, the Goku I know, not to be that guy, but the Goku I know, he would be just, busting his ass trying to get this done. He wouldn't just be trying to find cutting corners and shit. He would just do it.
The Goku we know would sacrifice time with his son and wife so he'd get better at fighting, because that's how Goku actually acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably hanging out with the Luke Skywalker we actually know somewhere.
Yeah, they both like blue.
So then, like, he eventually gets all these lanterns lit and they kiss, and I felt nothing because I'm at this point I'm just waiting for the fucking movie to hit its crescendo so I can just go put a bullet in my mouth.
Yeah, because this fucking scene takes like 20 minutes, and I was checking my fucking watch on that one.
Nobody has chemistry in this movie. They all just suck face for no reason.
But like, she's the catalyst for the Kamehameha, and it's like, whatever. Goodbye. Hurry up. Get the fuck out of the scene.
That is literally the only purpose of this character, and that's the really unfortunate thing, because, you know, this character already was kind of one-sided in the manga about basically her whole character being that, you know, she's in love with Goku, but at least she was kind of a badass, at least in the early parts of the series. In this, like, they try to paint her as a badass, but she doesn't really do anything.
She comes off as aggressively weird.
Yeah, but she's just flat. Like, there's no dimension to the character whatsoever. It's like, I'm a fighter, I guess. I'm also a really rich chick, I guess. I kind of want to be with you, Goku, I guess.
Yeah, she's infatuated with him for no discernible reason. She just is. It like you said, it is like Jessica Alba in fucking Idle Hands. Like, what do you see in this guy? Because he's kind of a loser.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
and he hasn't taken a shower in fucking 5 days. Like,
well, then, you know, it cut to the next scene where, you know, Chi-Chi, not Chi-Chi, is in the hallway leaving Goku's room. And Bulma and fucking Yamcha both see her and are like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then Goku comes out and is like, wait a second, huh? What? Why was she in there? And, whoops, she stole the Dragon Balls.
Oh, God. And then, like, of course, Chi-Chi runs into the real Chi-Chi, and they fucking start duking it out. And then she, like, lights a fire. The bad Chi-Chi, like, lights a fire in a doorway, and they're like, oh, God, how are we going to get through it? And then Goku just, like, steps over it.
Yeah, never mind the fact that two of the people you're with can blow air from their hands.
Yeah, that too. And then Goku's just like, which one's the real Chi-Chi? And then, like, one falls down, and she's like, help me, Goku, you're my only hope. And he fucking backhands the other one down to the...
He takes the first plea for help at face value and just wrecks Chi-Chi.
Yep.
Literally the only Goku-ish thing he does in the entire film.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then again, because this movie was PG, I have to assume, right?
PG-13, I believe.
Oh, wow. Well, because he's about to say, oh, shit, and then mid-sentence, she shoots him with this... This gun has all kinds of fucking things it can do, apparently. It can shoot, you know, in the direction of something, create a wall of fire. It can shoot Goku and just almost kill him, apparently.
Yeah, it's like that fucking Star-Lord gun.
It shot him with pollen and he fell asleep.
The gun adapts to whatever the plot needs. It's like, oh, well, we need to fucking give like a threatening blow to Goku. Okay, that's what the gun's shooting now.
Is May's gun John Hurt?
That motherfucker probably gave it to her.
He gifted it to her.
Here's a very miniaturized version of my doomsday weapon. It does things. I don't care. Take it.
I'll tell you what. If you come to my party dressed as a different woman, I'll give you the gun.
Was he sauced? Like, he's like,
Take the pistol. I don't remember when I made it, but shoot the funny man in the face.
Let's be real here. He's hitting that fucking bottle the whole way through the time continuum. Clarify this for me. Kamehamehas bring people back from the dead?
No.
fuck no.
Okay, I didn't think so. What the fucking shit garbage is this?
If he did this in the show, essentially what would happen is he'd blow a fucking basketball-sized hole in Goku's chest.
Right, that's what I figured.
They definitely do stuff where it's like they can transfer their ki energy into another person to, you know, keep them, you know, alive. I mean, I could buy that, but the fact that he says Kamehameha is just like beyond me.
He fucking launches it right into his chest. Yeah, so Goku comes back from the dead, but not before he encounters his grandfather in the fucking Black Panther spirit realm.
The ancestral plane?
Yeah, he's in the ancestral plane, and he's like, Grandpa, Gohan, what are you doing? He's like, it's not your time.
Mufasa's like behind him.
We eat the grass, and then we turn into the Piccolo, and then fucking Oogway's like, oh, in a piece, get the fuck out of here, you're not dead yet.
They're all there? What, Qui-Gon Jinn's there too?
You gotta train him, Obi.
Optimus Prime's there.
What's his nuts from Dungeons and Dragons is there. Fucking Martin.
Snails?
Martin Wayne. Yeah, Snails is there. He's like, still waiting for my resurrection.
Watch out for that carpet. It's made of ooze.
Look out for the marshmallow carpet.
Goku's just like looking back and forth, confused all these different people. He's like, one at a time, slow down. Who are you again? Where'd you come from?
And meanwhile, his grandpa's like, I'm just trying to give this important advice. He's gone. He's never going to get that.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That's what we're here for. Bye. So yeah, then he comes back because he gets fucking Kamehameha back into existence. So Piccolo has all of the Dragon Balls, and he's at like Mount fucking Dragon Ball apparently, and like puts them all into like these places. There's no place like that, right?
No. Could be done anywhere.
It can be done on your fucking bathroom floor.
I was gonna say, like, you're sitting in the bathtub and you just got like a bag full of the Dragon Balls and you fucking make the wish. Anyway, so he's like putting them all into like these hollowed out things on this pedestal, and it like grows like a fucking spirit tower from fucking Breath of the Wild, and he fucking gets shot up into the air, and like I don't know what happens. Like this stone canopy like engulfs them and then like turns into like a dragon tower, and then what?
Yeah, and meanwhile the fucking other group of Goku with Yamcha driving this fucking Hummer it's trying to catch up, and while this is all going on, it's almost like, you know, like earthquake or some shit, like the ground's coming out from under them, and again they crash this fucking car, but this time, Yamcha's car has like jet boots or has like something that allows it to fly.
It's like a fucking, first of all, it's like a flying Hummer, and like they fly off this cliff, and then like the wheels turn underneath, and then it's just got like, it's like a hovercraft almost with like fucking jet boosters coming out of the fucking wheels.
And meanwhile you got Roshi in the back with this fucking pod he got from Ernie Hudson, like trying to do everything in his power not to drop it.
And it don't look good at all.
And then like Goku just shows up in his fucking anime in his classic orange and blue gi. I'm like, you didn't earn that, you fucking son of a bitch of a movie.
No, and it's like not even the full thing either. He's like wearing like black pants. What's up with that?
Well, before he puts that on, there's this scene where like the Hummer's floating in the air and Piccolo's in the middle of doing this chant.
Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli.
And he fires they exchange ki blast, and it's this huge explosion on the side, and it blows the fucking tower up, and it knocks the Hummer into the ground, and somehow that pot survives.
Dragon Balls go all over the place.
This scene is incomprehensible at times, because there's just shots of like, them against some brown fucking rocky background throwing gusts of air at each other.
And then, yeah, like you guys said, Goku gets the movie version of his fucking gi, and it, I guess it kind of looks like it, but not really. It's got this fucking belt on it that's definitely not in the anime.
Okay, so this following sequence made, if I wasn't bleeding on the brain, I was really surprised, because this is where we get the movie's alleged twists that it should be slapped over. I don't know how they reference this, but Piccolo's like, "Hi, you're Ozaru."
Yeah, okay, drop some knowledge bombs on me, because the way the movie describes this is, "Hi, I'm Piccolo, and I don't need the Dragon Balls because you're my fucking cohort, Asaru." And he's like, "What? I'm a wolfman ape thing? Shit." A Saiyan isn't even mentioned in this fucking movie, by the way.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, like I brought up with the whole thing with the moon, it's just like, it's an early plot point in Dragon Ball where it's like when Goku sees the moon, he turns into a great ape, or Ozaru, and he doesn't remember it when it happens, and everyone else pays the fucking price.
Yeah, and actually in the original series, he kills Grandpa Gohan because he turns into the great ape and kind of just goes on a rampage and doesn't even realize he did it.
Well, that's way more compelling than what happens in this film.
Another thing, a note here, just for the people that don't know anything about Dragon Ball, which I feel like it's so popular that I'm sure there's some people, but the majority of people probably know this. But they're huge. They call them great apes because they're fucking they're like Godzilla.
They are massive. The Saiyan race, which they don't even mention that Goku crash landed in a fucking pod. Like, if they do, they mention it real fast and never go back to it.
It is. Piccolo does say that. He's like, "You're a fucking alien. You crashed here, and your grandpa, Superman."
Right, but in this movie, it's just like, yeah, you came here because you're my minion, and you came here 18 years ago, and on your 18th birthday is when you're gonna have this transformation. And he doesn't turn into a giant ape. He's not this giant thing. He's literally like, he's the fucking werewolf from like Howling 2 or some shit.
Yeah.
He's like a half-assed fucking werewolf CGI garbage thing that's like not even that much bigger than Gohan is. He's just like a regular man-sized CGI atrocity.
Yeah, and it's there for like a minute.
You only see it for like a couple scenes, and he doesn't like do anything.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this big kind of horrible thing that could happen to Goku where he could lose control, and Piccolo's like, "Wahaha, my master plans come to fruition," and then Goku in his like Ozuru form kind of sort of maybe chokes Roshi to death.
No, Roshi's already dying, and like he's just got like his hand around his throat.
Right, because he fires the Mafuba at Piccolo, and they have kind of a bit of a struggle, and then Piccolo fires an energy beam at Roshi, which kind of disrupts it, and then due to just the stress of it all, Roshi's already in the process of dying.
Yeah, and then after Roshi dies, Goku just fucking turns back to a human. Or what? He turns back to Justin Chatwin. He's like, "There, I've overcome this horrible thing that the movie's been building up for an hour."
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's fucking stupid.
And then he has this moment where he's like, "I am Goku, I am Ozuru, I must do two things at once.
I must be two to be one." I don't know. There's a scene where he fucking hits Piccolo with something, and the fucking yell that comes out of James Marsters is hilarious. He's like, "Oh," and he's falling down a fucking mountain.
I didn't actually belly laugh in this movie until the Kamehameha wave happened, and then I lost my fucking mind.
Oh my god.
Because, like, Goku fucking rears back. I'm like, here it is. Here comes the big old infamous beam struggle that Dragon Ball's known for. And then he goes, Kamehameha. And then he levitates off the ground.
Yeah, but, like, right before that, too, he's like, "You don't understand, Piccolo. The first rule is that there are no rules in this movie because I can do whatever the fuck I want based on what the fuck happens next."
And Piccolo should be like, what are you talking about? I feel like I'm missing some context here. And then blam, Kamehameha wave.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's what my grandpa told me anyway.
Not only is it the Kamehameha, but he fucking fires it all. There's all this like air blowing his fucking hair and shit, and there's this blue energy.
It looks like it would smell the way that mouthwash does.
It looks like a fucking five gum commercial.
It does.
Well, he fires this beam off, and it intercepts Piccolo's, but not only does it hit his beam, there's no clash or anything. It just, Goku then flies through the air, and just like the beam follows him, and then he crashes into Piccolo, and that's it.
That's it. He just beats him. He beats him in like 2 moves.
Yeah, but what's up with that? Like, isn't it supposed to be like a big energy blast?
The problem is, in the original Dragon Ball, and they're the little bit they're trying to reference, I think, is that when he beats King Piccolo, this version of Piccolo,
I picked up on this too.
He's still like a kid.
Right.
He gets beat so bad that he just uses the last bit of his energy to just fly into Piccolo head first, and he fucking flies through his stomach with his fist out and blows a hole through his stomach.
He puts a Goku-sized hole in Piccolo's chest.
Oh man.
I probably giving this movie too much credit, but that's what I think they're going for. But they also have been building up to, for lack of a better term, this Kamehameha, and I guess they just combined the two ideas, or they just thought, hey, it would look cool if he flew in the air and did this. Like, I don't know what the fucking logic was.
There's not even a reason, or like, there's no rhyme or reason as to why he decides to fly at that moment too. Like, you're shooting a projectile, you can stay away.
Yeah. So then he does this. He defeats Piccolo. Mai fights fucking Bulma, and Bulma just like doesn't really do much, and then Yamcha shoots her in the back because she gave Yamcha her gun. It's not worth going into.
It really isn't.
They basically are like, shit, we beat him. We stopped the fucking the Ozuru, and but Roshi's dead. What are we gonna do? And Goku's like, well, we have the wish.
Yeah, grab the balls, because here we go. Grab them Dragon Balls.
And then Goku suddenly knows this whole fucking speech to summon Shenlong. It's
the poem his grandpa always said to him, Connor.
Yeah. But even like through the movies, like, I don't know that fucking stupid poem by heart. When the fucking dragon comes out, it looks like shit.
Oh my god, I was fucking, if I wasn't already having a heart attack, I was now.
It's like you couldn't even, like, basic designs you couldn't get right. And this thing comes out.
Well, you want to know the sad fucking thing about this? I was reading that apparently when they originally did this, movie, there was a scene that was cut where the actor Christopher Sabat, who does the voice for the English version of this dragon, actually has some dialogue.
Does it really?
I'm so mad.
And they didn't use it.
That would have been, again, a sliver of something to sink my teeth into. But now this dragon shows up, and it's obscured by light. You can barely make it out, and what you can see is just this fucking CGI abomination, and Goku's like, bring back Master Roshi! Goodbye, suspense and tension.
Yeah, but it's just a big gold, like, blob. Like, it just looks so stupid, and the fucking dragon from the show is so fucking cool. Like, why couldn't you just do that?
There's a whole bunch of aesthetics that go into Summon the Dragon, too. Like, the sky turns fucking black, and then this thing shoots into the sky, and it's huge!
And this thing's, like, the size of the tower that they're on. Barely.
Yeah, and then they bring Roshi back, and that's more or less it. There's an extra scene with Goku and Chi-Chi, and they're fucking sparring, and it does like the Rocky 2 fade out because they had the audacity, and then there's a post-credit sequence where Piccolo opens his eyes, presumptuous sequel that didn't have a fucking chance in hell of happening.
The balls get, like, dispersed again, and they're like, you ready to go find him again? They're like, yup.
It just reminds me of the ending in D&D with fucking them with snails, and it's like he has the little memorial for him, and then it's like, oh, the gods have spoken.
But thank God Profian didn't open his eyes inside a fucking dragon's belly.
Yes, this is true.
Because, like, what even is this post-credit scene? It's like, I'm sorry, I know you just said it, but I gotta talk about it because, like, it's, again, where are we? It's like feudal Japan again. And, like, this chick's making, like, miso soup, and she brings it into Piccolo, and he's, like, in a bed with a blanket over him, and she, like, pulls the blanket back, and she, like, puts, like, a wet towel on his head, and he just turns over, and then that's it.
Are they supposed to, like, imply if a sequel ever got made that he's gonna be turned good by this woman or some shit?
I don't know, like Goku knocked the shit out of him, so now he's a good guy?
Also, like, Goku didn't stop to check if this, like, world-ending villain was actually dead, and B, just fucking left him there?
Yeah, like, but he was, like, fused to the ground, but,
Were the producers of this film just like, yeah, when this makes all the money, we're gonna bring Vegeta in, and then like have like a teaser at the end of that one for Frieza, maybe. We don't know.
Oh, that cigar came out, and somebody was like, this is gonna bring all the fucking kids in Cartoon Network. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna make fucking gangbusters.
I bet my left hand that if they ever got to the Frieza saga, he would have literal ice powers, because that's how little the people making these movies understand the source material.
I wish I had freeze power so I could just freeze my fucking head after this movie.
and then smash it?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I could take the fucking writer of this movie and encase him in ice and then bury him somewhere.
Oh boy. Where are we putting this, fellas?
Do we even need to ask?
Well, yes, because I have a special place this fucking movie is going, and it's very appropriate. I am opening up the Dead Zone, and I'm throwing this fucking movie in there with Garlic Jr., and so we can sit there and just rot for all eternity. Like, I don't fucking care, and hopefully no one goes and opens it up and lets him out where he has a small arc after the Frieza saga that nobody cares about.
Yeah, like, this is one of those films that I feel like people are going to be like, oh my god, why did you do Dragon Ball Evolution? It's so bad. It's one of those things where, like, when we were talking about it, I feel it was like, is it that bad? Like, none of us had actually seen it. See, that was the whole thing. That was the cachet of this episode. And it was like, fuck it. Let's go for the gusto here. Let's do it. Again, like, somebody who's not, like, super up on the lore and shit, like, this is just not a good way to kill 2 hours. Like, it's boring. I think that's the biggest sin it commits. It's just fucking boring. It's all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's just fucking trash. Like, expensive trash is what this is.
It is a serious crime that you took a property where people get so angry and they scream so loud their fucking hair turns color, and they can, like, karate chop a planet in half. And you took that and you made it the most boring slog of a movie you possibly could.
It should be fun. Even if it was fucking, 90 minutes of people just, again, doing that, yelling at each other and turning different colors and fucking blowing holes in people. Like, I would want to see that.
And that is the biggest problem with this movie, because there are much better fan films out there. Just go on YouTube and look for them. What I would suggest to people, if you really want to get into the series, start with the first episode. Pick up the original manga Honestly, you can go on fucking Viz's website and you could read the first 3 chapters for free. Watch one of the original movies. I'll suggest fucking the one with Gogeta. Fusion Reborn. Watch the fucking new one that just came out that everyone's raving about. Give Dragon Ball Super a try. Or if you don't want to make the commitment, watch Battle of the Gods. It's really good.
Watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and if you're a Lapse fan or someone who doesn't know, it's a short comedic approach to Dragon Ball Z, and it's so easy to fucking digest, and it's good throughout.
Or if you want the real deal, watch Kai. Dragon Ball Kai. People shit on Dragon Ball Z Kai because it cuts a lot of the filler episodes out, but to me, it's like, you want to watch 350 episodes, or do you want to watch 150 episodes?
It's also got some stolen music.
Yeah, well, that's an unfortunate thing that had to happen, but it's the condensed version. With that all said, what else could I really say? This movie gave me fucking brain damage. This is going in the dumpster.
Jeez.
As a super fan, you couldn't fuck me over any more than you did with this film. I don't sound as angry as I did with like a Dungeons and Dragons or House of the Dead, because it might actually be worse than those movies, because those movies had some entertainment value because they're so cheesy, but I have a different level of hate for this film.
Disdain.
Yeah, disdain's the word. Thank you, Joe. That, while my voice might not be conveying it, my heart is, and I'm going to go to sleep tonight and have nightmares. So thank you, Dragon Ball Evolution. Thank you, James Wong. Don't need it. Don't ever want to see it again. It's at the bottom of the dumpster. It's honestly, it's under the dumpster. It's buried under all the shit that I put under the dumpster, and I never want to see it again.
You hear that, Ben Ramsey? Go fuck yourself.
So that's it. That's Dragon Ball Evolution from 2009, directed by James Wong. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
My father found that Prometheum orb 20 years ago, and you stole it from me last night. I'm not leaving here without it.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a Dragon Ball. Zushinshu 4-star ball. I promised my grandfather I would keep it safe, so I'm not letting anyone take it from me.
4 stars. Prometheum orb has 5 stars.
Who's the idiot? Look at it.